What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network. I am Noah Hiles. Joining me, as always, are my lovely co-hosts, Josh Harrison and Platinum Key, a.k.a. Mark. Again, you're listening to Bucco Territory. You're watching Bucco Territory. We've got a big show today talking about the biggest guy in the Pirate organization. And before we get into that, I want to remind everyone to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're on a mission here at Bucco Territory. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subs. We've got a couple hundred already, just despite having only 3. This is number 4 shows under our belt. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we've got a fun little mission ahead to get to that 1,000. Maybe we'll have some fun giveaways or things you can look forward to in the near future as we try to get to 1,000. But fellas, big day, big night. We're recording this Wednesday evening. In a few hours, I'm going to go ahead and assume it. It's like on election night, I'll be the first media outlet to officially declare Paul Skenes the National League winner in Cy Young. I'll be shocked if he's not. I just don't see how he doesn't win this award. I was a voter for this year's Cy Young, and I did give him my first place vote. I'm allowed to say that now because this is releasing after the award is announced. So I guess we'll start there. This is going to be a Skenes-focused show. We'll start with the good news, I guess, that he won the Cy Young and react to that because we've got some bad news for Pirates fans pertaining to Paul Skenes as well to react to. But Josh, I'll go to you first. I mean, you played alongside, I'd say probably the best pitcher the Pirates have had in my lifetime that's not named Paul Skenes, Gerrit Cole. When you look at what Gerrit Cole did as a rookie and as a youngster and how good he was, especially in that 2015 season, does it just kind of make you marvel in amazement at how much better Skenes has been really than just anyone who's thrown a baseball in this organization?
It's been definitely a sight to see. Watching him from the outskirts, he is definitely a generational talent. Something that you want to be able to be proud of and not waste any of his better years, as I would say. And deservingly so, Cy Young. That is an award that I don't think anybody would look at this as a surprise. But all that does is just, I think, put more fuel to the fire for Skenes, but also for the Pirates. Is, hey, you got the best pitcher in baseball. Let's put something behind it because it's very rare that you get a pitcher to do what he does. And I know every fifth day, whoever that opposing team is, I don't want to say they chalking it up, but they're like, hey, if we can get this guy out before 5 or 6, we got a better chance. And
Yeah.
It's a testament to his body of work.
And Mark, I'll ask you. I mean, you're a guy who loves to celebrate all of the wins the Pirates have, all the big moments, and this is a day you're probably looking forward to as a fan. Skenes is obviously one of your main guys. How much joy has he brought to you as a fan in these last couple seasons?
I can't imagine what the Pirates would look like without Paul Skenes. It's been hard to watch, as a fan, hard to stick with him. We've had some disappointing seasons, but every 5 days there is a shining bright spot of just sheer dominance on the mound, of watching the best pitcher in baseball play for your baseball team. It's awesome. I mean, I can't imagine how many posts are about Skenes on my account. But it's got to be over 25% for one guy on a 26-man roster. He is a superstar. It's undoubtedly. I thought it was maybe just like the rookie hype. I don't know if a pitcher can really be a superstar in today's MLB, and he's blown that out of the water. He is a national name, national face, and yeah, I mean, it's so appreciative to have him on this team.
Yeah, I'll just share a quick story. My first year on the beat was 2024 for the Post-Gazette, and I remember going up to Louisville to watch Skenes' first AAA start. And he only threw 3 innings. He was 9 up, 9 down. And I remember calling my dad after that game, and he was asking, how'd he look? And I just said, this isn't an exaggeration. This is the best pitcher I've ever seen. And however good like people think he's going to be when he arrives, he will exceed their expectations. Like this guy, the moment I said the moment he steps on a big league mound, he'll be a top 10 pitcher in the game. And I even undersold him because I really, from the moment he's arrived, he's been the best pitcher on the planet. It's been truly incredible to watch. But
It's crazy to even think that there was a debate about who the Pirates should take at 101 that year.
yeah,
Because, I mean, Dylan Cruz, no shade to him at all, but I mean,
Right.
it that was a tough choice to make. The Pirates had a wealth of pitching saying, oh, we obviously have a need in outfield, still do, but to have a top 10 player in the game, and maybe that's underselling him, not just pitcher. I
yeah.
mean, just overall is, yeah.
I mean, that's what you hope with a first overall pick is to not miss. And that's one that you would say that they didn't miss on.
Yes. But having Paul Skenes on your roster for a team like the Pirates is both a gift and, in a way, a bit of a curse because Paul Skenes' excellence, in a way, shines light on the Pirates' many inadequacies. It puts pressure on them to perform. Like Josh just mentioned, it's a gift to have the best pitcher in baseball. And when you do not succeed, despite having something, a resource, an asset that no other team in baseball has, people are going to start to wonder why. And some things that probably weren't at the forefront of the attention of the baseball world have become a mainstream discussion over the last year. The fact that they don't spend a ton of money, their struggles with developing hitters, identifying big league capable hitters, their lack of, I don't even know a better way to say it. Just they're never seeming to be on the same page as an organization. All of these struggles have become a national conversation because when you have a star like this, it's not just Pittsburgh who wants to see him play on the game's biggest stage. It's all of baseball. They want to see what this guy can do in the playoffs. They want to see him try to replicate what Yamamoto did this postseason. When you're watching that, you think, how many guys could even attempt to do that? I can think of two. One plays in Detroit, albeit who knows for how much longer, and one plays in Pittsburgh for, again, who knows how much longer. The big topic of today's show, unfortunately for Pirates fans, isn't about Paul Skenes winning the Cy Young. It's about a story that ran the morning his Cy Young Award was announced. A story from Randy Miller of NewJersey.com included this quote from an anonymous ex-teammate of Paul Skenes'. And it reads, "Trust me, he wants to play for the Yankees. I heard him say it multiple times." Anytime you throw the words Skenes and Yankees in the same sentence, it's going to explode. And that's what this did. It's been all over graphics. I've seen a million quote cards from every baseball outlet, every media outlet that covers baseball. And it's going to be a conversation that continues. It's going to be something that Paul has the answer for, unfortunately for him. It's going to be a conversation that goes on in New York media for years, I'm sure, in Pittsburgh. There's a lot of ways we can react to this news. I want to start by just asking Josh. Josh, let's say you're a player in the Pirates clubhouse. What's your reaction to seeing this story? Because it's twofold. One, your best player is allegedly having told players that he wants to play for another team. And then on the other side, you got a guy who was your brother, was your teammate, and he's airing out someone's personal conversations to the media. So what is your reaction to this entire scenario?
Reaction is not to read too much into it. Especially around this time of year, trade rumors are gonna pop up. And the thing with trade rumors, you don't know how recent, how current, how true it is. And not saying that there isn't any truth and not saying that there is. But honestly, when you're in the clubhouse with guys, you have conversations, not necessarily about who you would like to play for this or that, but you're gonna have organic conversations around the table, just in general about baseball. And everybody comes from different places, and some people, oh yeah, man, I grew up a Yankees fan, or I grew up a Dodgers fan. Somebody could take that out of context, saying that you want to play for them, but at the same time, it's a business, and We live in an era where, I guess you can kind of speak on where you want to go if that was the case. But I wouldn't read too much into it because the bit that I've seen Paul and how he interacts, I'm the type that I got to hear it come from the horse's mouth. And not to go there, but little situation with me, I said something some years ago, to where I wanted out. And it wasn't really wanting out, but it was just the way that the team was moving. And,
Right.
I made some comments. So, as I said, I wouldn't read too much into it unless it comes from Paul's mouth. He say, she say, ex teammates, teammate this or that. Whether it's any truth to it or not, I wouldn't look too much into it unless Paul was to come out and say, "Hey, I want to be a Yankee."
Yeah. Mark, I'll ask you. I mean, like you just poured your heart out on your Skenes fandom. Was it tough to read that quote?
Not really. I mean, we had the whole trade deadline. Everyone was saying, "Oh, where's Skeens going to go? Pirates aren't going to trade him, but are they? The will they? Won't they? They're not going to trade him this year. It makes zero sense for the Pirates. There's nothing that the Yankees could offer that would intrigue the Pirates enough. There's nothing any team really that could offer the value that Paul Skeens brings to this franchise right now. Now, 2 years, 3 years from now might be a different story once he's entered arbitration. But he hasn't even hit arbitration yet. So I don't understand why the Pirates would move him. It's not going to happen. So as when I saw that, my instant reaction was nothing, Burger. This is nothing. This is a great headline that makes me want to click on it, and a lot of people did. I'm sure it accomplished that goal. But as far as the validity behind it, whether I trust the source or anything of that nature, no. I mean, he could have just been in New York, been like, "Man, I would love to play here someday. This is a great stadium," and that's the quote, and that's the whole headline. That's the story you run with. So, it doesn't move the needle at all for me. He's going to be a Pirate in 2026.
Yeah, and Ben Charrington said as much. I had two reactions to this. The first was, I like kind of what you said, Mark, where it's like the way I take that comment is more. I mean, we didn't even get the verbatim comment from Skeens, but the way I imagine it on going is, he's probably talking to guys who have played in big markets, and it was just kind of man, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to play at a place like Yankee Stadium, a place where so many legends have worn that uniform? And I mean, who doesn't think about playing for the Yankees or the Dodgers? I mean, that's when you're a little kid growing up. I don't care what team you root for. If you get traded to one of those two teams in MLB The Show on Dynasty mode, you're not restarting the game. Those are the marquee franchises. It's the same thing in football. I mean, who doesn't think about playing for the Cowboys or the Steelers or the Packers or the Lakers or the Celtics, right? Like that's just sports. And that's kind of how I imagine that conversation going. Just, that'd be a cool opportunity. You think about it, like it's a team that's always relevant. It's a team where their standard is championship or bust, and that's how Paul Skenes operates. And I think that's probably what would attract him the most.
And it would also make Livy Dunn happy too. I mean, she's from New Jersey. She works in New York a lot. So
she can live in New York and just go wherever he's pitching every 5 days.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh ain't far from New York.
Yeah, it's true. Right. We got tons of direct flights.
Lots of the similarities. Yeah.
Yes. The other thing is, if Paul really wanted to be traded to New York, to anywhere, I don't know if there are 5 players who have more of a powerful voice in baseball right now, who have more of a vocal equity against their team than Paul Skenes. If Paul said, "Trade me," if Paul wanted traded, he would just say it himself.
Yeah.
If he wanted out, he would say it himself. And he's a guy where if he did it, if those words came out of his mouth, then the Pirates really have an issue. And you have to change your whole, I would assume, your whole plan as an organization. But he hasn't said those words yet. And I don't anticipate Paul ever saying that on record. It might be something he says eventually behind a closed door to someone in the organization. But I don't think that that's how he operates. I think that he will keep a public presenting face of I want to grind this out in Pittsburgh until I'm no longer here. And whenever he wants out, he'll do it in a different way.
Yeah,
But I want to
I
get in.
mean,
Oh, go ahead,
no, no,
Josh.
not to
Yeah,
cut you off, but that was kind of to go along with what I said. Was if it's not coming from the guy
yeah,
or not saying it, I wouldn't read too much into it because, as I said, I have a little bit of experience in this. It was after they traded Garrett and Kutch.
right.
It's not that I said trade me, but I was like the from the out from looking in, you're not putting our best team forward when you trade Garrett and Kutch. So if we're not trying to win, I want to be traded as well. Ended up playing my last year and becoming a free agent the year after, but the guys in the clubhouse, knew it came from me, but it wasn't anything that they knew was a knock towards them. That was more of me pretty much calling out the front office and saying, "Hey, I signed here. I want to win." And two guys that helped us win the past couple of years, you've traded. Which, as I said, Paul has not come out and say, "Hey, I want to be traded." So that's why, with me saying I wouldn't read into it because I've had experience of if it's not coming from the guy, don't read into it.
Right. And let's look into this whole discussion a little bit further, though, because like I said earlier in the show, this has been a narrative connected with Skenes from his rookie year on that, people just seemingly can't wait for him to get out of Pittsburgh. When are they going to get rid of him? Because they're not going to build around him. At some point in time, you would have to figure this lights a fire under the Pirates' rear ends, right? They can't continue to let this narrative. I mean, is there no shame? Is there no embarrassment that they have this once in a generation talent who puts their organization on a national stage? He is one of the highest branded players in this sport, aside from maybe Ohtani and Judge. I don't know who else you could put him on that level that he's on. And the narrative around him is, we can't wait to get him out of there. Are the Pirates ever going to do anything about this? Josh, you played there. What's the mentality like when, like you said, in that 17 or that 18 season, excuse me, after Kutch and Cole were moved? How
Um,
frustrating is it to feel like you're in an organization where you don't agree with the path in which it's going?
Very frustrating. As I said, I had signed my contract extension and we were heading in the right
Yeah,
direction. And after being a couple years removed from the playoffs, it's like if we're going to try to make the playoffs, why are we trading two of our key pieces? And one of the words that were said, I remember when Garrett got traded, and I think Kutch got traded, and it sounds good, but to a guy that was in my situation, that was 7 years and around 7 years into the league, been to the playoffs 3 years, our response was, "Oh, we got back a lot of controllable pieces that we like." And I'm like, I'm not interested in controllable pieces coming from the playoffs for 3 years. We have something here special. Controllable pieces are fine, but I'm sure everybody in that clubhouse and the fans around would want, even if they are controllable pieces, pieces that are going to add to winning now, not for the future. Because we had a window of where we had those 3 years, and then it's like that window closed very quickly. And right now, with a pitcher like Skenes, who at the time who would be this version of Garrett Cole for this era, meaning like you got a first round pick or you got a
yeah.
guy that you want to build around. I think this puts pressure on the front office to say, okay, we know we're not trading him. Obviously, he's controllable, but what are you going to do within those next couple of years that you have him? Make it worthwhile for him to want to stay if that's something that Pittsburgh is willing to do. Grant, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. We know free agency and price points with certain people, but sometimes things change. Winning changes everything, and you put a winning product out on the field, it can definitely make his time here worthwhile and show something to the fans that, hey, we're trying to win and we want to make the most of these years.
Mark, I'll ask you. Your general manager, Platinum Key, now. What are you doing? What are you doing to make this guy happy? I mean, it can't be as simple as spend money because you might not have money to spend. Is it possible? Is this a possible situation where you can maximize Paul Skenes' window?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've already started by listening to him. They made a change at pitching coach and said, is this, I assume he was a big part of that discussion and said, can we get better? We can. Let's do it. That's something that the Pirates can afford and can control and made that happen, which I think that's the best thing they can do. But as far as a general manager, you got to at least try and figure out a contract extension. I think that ship has sailed way, way past. I mean, he's about to win the Cy Young tonight. I don't know if there ever was a window for the Pirates because, I mean, this is a guy that's going to be making at least $40 million a year probably at some point, probably more. We'll see like where Scooble sets the market. So that's out of the window if you're a GM. You can't really extend him. But you're looking at this window then, a set window of, all right, he's a free agent after the 2029 season. How can we make these next 3-4 years worthwhile? How can we build with this? How can we go all in and not just get the controllable assets that, you know, we used to try and go for? Go for winning assets. Go for the veteran presence. Sign a couple guys in free agency. You don't have to necessarily spend over $100 million, but build the right pieces and just show that you are trying. At least show some confidence, and then rely on Skenes to carry you home.
If there was ever a time to put all your chips in the middle of the table, this would be it, right? I mean, you only got this guy for a couple more years. If this were the time to spend an uncomfortable amount of money? Why wouldn't you do it right now when you have Paul Skenes and all these other young pitchers at a league minimum?
And Connor
I want to
Griffin.
bring one.
I mean,
and Connor Griffin on the way.
How many times are you going to have 2 number 1 overall like MLB prospects that are going to be under team control?
3 of them, really.
Yeah.
If you include Chandler.
Yeah,
like,
Bubba's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's just so much young talent all in the same window. It's kind of like what the Orioles had a couple of years ago, where they had all these guys coming up, and they had the one good season, and then they, you know, gave Corbin Burns a bunch of money. So there's a path out there of what to do when you have a young core like that, but you got to execute it.
On the note of the extension, I'm glad you brought that up, Mark. Josh, when you signed your extension in Pittsburgh, was it because you thought that Pittsburgh was the place that could give you the most money in free agency? Or was it because you were happy that they were winning and you wanted to continue to be a part of the organization?
So I signed my deal. It was my first year arbitration. So we went arbitration, and then I ended up signing the day after opening day. And honestly, it was 2014. It was after 2014. It was 2015. So we had just went to the playoffs 2 years in a row. You know, and Pittsburgh is, I mean, a sports town. When you're winning, oh my goodness, it's so fun to play there. So being a part of that, and then not only that, the clubhouse, the guys that I played with, it was a no-brainer. My family was comfortable. It was close to home. So like that winning culture that we had created and that I was a part of made me want to be there. You know, tasting the playoffs 2 years in a row, I'm like, why would I want to go anywhere else? These are my boys right here. We don't make the playoffs. Like, yeah, let's keep this thing rocking. And you know, as I said, things happen, you know, 3-4 years later, out of being, you know, not being in the playoffs or not even sniffing it for 3 to 4 years, you know, at some point something's got to change. And, you know, obviously roster is going to change year to year, but nobody that plays this game gets younger. And, you know, in my case, I'm like, man, I know I'm 30, got a lot of years ahead of me, but at the same time, the way this game is going, I know I'm not going to be in Pittsburgh forever. I could see it. So I was trying to maximize my opportunity with those guys there because it was a place, as I said, we had some great years and I enjoyed my time, and those were my brothers. I was ready to rock with them.
Right. And as you were talking, Josh, I was taking notes on some of the things you said, and that's because I get asked all the time, why don't they just try to sign him to this mega extension? Like, why don't they just break the bank for him to keep him here? Blah, blah, blah. You have to want to be here too. And what reason does Paul have to want to be here right now? If money's the only incentive, well, one, this place doesn't have it. And two, even if it does, he can get just as much, if not more money, literally anywhere else.
Anywhere. He's going to be the face
of
the
franchise give another reason. You're right. You've got to give another reason. And right now, they don't have that winning culture. They have some talent, but even, Josh, like when you signed your extension in that era of Pirates baseball, they were investing in winning. They were bringing in free agents, and they were extending guys. They had extended Marte, they had extended Kutch, they had extended
Polanco.
Liriano. They were bringing in guys like Edison Volquez, and like we talked about earlier, obviously like the Burnett. They brought AJ Burnett back.
And then don't forget the last one since 2000, 18, Ivan Nova.
Von Nova,
Yeah,
yeah.
Can't forget that
2016.
one.
Yeah,
Can't forget that. That's the last one, right?
Right. Right. And like they were doing things the right way, and they just haven't done that here. And so that's why when I personally am asked, what do they do with Paul? I'm of the frame of mind, and I'm certainly in the minority here in Pittsburgh. I think they should trade him. I think they should trade him. I think they should trade him right now, because I think right now, the way they've operated, tells me they're not going to change the way they do business. They're going to keep operating under this way. And if they're going to keep doing this the same way, then the pieces they currently have are not good enough. And if you're not able to acquire the necessary pieces to complement your team, then you have to trade something to get the necessary pieces. And they're not a Mitch Keller trade away from being a playoff team. They might be a Paul Skenes trade away from being a playoff team, though, especially down the line as some of these other prospects continue to develop. If you trade him now and you get that King's ransom, the something that makes the Soto deal look like nothing, right? And that's what it would be. It would be. It has the potential to be the largest trade return in Major League Baseball history for one single player. It should be. It absolutely should be, for the value that he could provide. I don't even know if you could quantify it. And if you move him and you get 3 to 4 everyday contributors, and you pair that with the pitching you already have, you pair that with Connor Griffin coming up, Spencer Horwitz over at first base, maybe you have a better shot. And maybe that's the contribution Paul Skenes ends up making in Pirates history, that he was so good that he alone built a playoff roster. It's an unfortunate end. It would be like a tragic ending to this story, that an ending that happened way too early. But the harsh reality is, I personally, having seen a little bit of how the sausage is made, having covered this team thoroughly, having sources close to the organization, in the organization, I'm of the frame of belief that they're not going to do enough to get this guy a winning roster. They might be better than what they've been. It's still not going to be good enough. I think their ceiling is maybe lucking into a 2025 Reds situation. And as these years go by, the longer you hang on to them, the lesser this value gets. And if you're not going to extend them,
with Mike Trout,
if you're not going to extend them, you got to get rid of them with multiple years of control. Because if you let him walk, or if you only trade him with 1 year left on his deal, then you've done your organization a disservice. This is a player who is an asset, and if you're not going to properly surround him with talent, then you need to treat him as an asset, and you need to trade him. You need to cash him in. If you can't afford the free car you won on The Price is Right, then sell the free car and use that money to build a better life so you can afford the next free car you win. That's how they have to approach this. That's my frame of mind on the situation. It's a very harsh reality for this team, but it's a reality that they've built for themselves. So I don't know if either of you have any reaction to that little rant I just went on.
Honestly, definitely a harsh reality. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I can't disagree with you, because having played, for the organization, and also seeing how things, it would take one to, think that things are going to change. That I'm with you. The status quo has been what it is, and I know they've said that they're going to open up a little bit more this offseason, but to what extent is opening up a little bit more? You know what I mean? Obviously, we know Skenes is more than a little bit more what he's going to be worth, but at the same time, I get it, because you can ask the question: would you rather have the best pitcher in baseball, or would you rather win a World Series? And what you're saying is, if we're not going to win a World Series with Paul Skenes, maybe we trade him and get pieces that will win a World Series. Yes, that's going to hurt some people's hearts. That's going to hurt some feelings, because, it's the best pitcher in baseball. But I have a funny feeling that most people would be willing to say, I don't care who's on the team, as long as we get that parade and we get to go out there and celebrate our team winning. Hey, and as you said, being traded is part of a contribution, as you said, it could be. But as of right now, I still don't expect him to be traded. So you got to go out and get something to be aggressive. maybe offenses. That's what I'm thinking. I'm standing by it.
They've had him for 2 years. They finished in last place those 2 seasons. Something's got to give. Key,
Yep.
any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my only concern with the Paul Skenes trade is you better be damn sure that the prospects you're getting back or the controllable pieces you're getting back are going to be part of the major league team. Because the worst possible case scenario is that everyone is, this is the Chris Archer trade again. Like, what are the Pirates doing? This is the worst trade ever. And yeah, it would demoralize the fan base to go from having a Cy Young winner and then believing in prospects that just don't pan out. It would be really tough. I think a lot of people would be skeptical, and for good reason. Not like the Pirates have turned a lot of these all-stars that they've traded away in the past into players on the team now. Just look at the Marte trade. We just had Leo Verpaguero placed on waivers. So it would be tough. I would be very scared that the right trade would be made. And I think part of that is why you wait just a little bit longer until you are absolutely positive you have the right trade.
They've got time to figure it out, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't anticipate for everything I just said. I don't anticipate he's going to be a Pirate throughout all of 2026. I just think we're prolonging the inevitable here. They're not going to be a playoff team next year.
Yeah.
Unless they can be. They're really
be.
not that far away. If their payroll, if they just invest the right way, they could be. But they're not going to.
Stay healthy, win more of the one-run games. Yeah. Win on the margins.
Well, I was about to say win on the margins.
Yeah. But after all that encouraging, positive Pirates talk, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to our Pirates podcast. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're on a mission to get to 1,000 subscribers. We've got some fun things planned ahead to try to get us there. Again, 1,000 subscribers is the mission. There's the graphic. Hit that subscribe button like you're seeing on your screen right there. Even the notification button as well. That way you can get notifications every time an episode of Bucco Territory drops. Hit like, leave us a 5-star review. We're trying to grow this show. You guys seem to like it because you keep coming back and watching and listening. So we want to make sure we can keep giving you guys the absolute best Pirates coverage we can possibly provide. He is Josh Harrison. He is Platinum Key, a.k.a. Mark. I am Noah Hiles. Another episode in the books. Fellas, 2 weeks on the show. I feel like we're getting better. The Pirates, we're still waiting to see them get better, and we'll be here to talk about it every week moving forward. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Hit that subscribe button.